Flesh and Blood has officially hit its 5-year anniversary, and in 2024, Legend Story Studios has spent a lot of time and energy reimagining and reinventing how you as a new player can join the game of Flesh and Blood. So, I know I've covered one of these already this year, but I think it's worth making another one. Let's talk about how to start playing Flesh and Blood. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what you should do if you're a brand new player to Flesh and Blood or even to trading card games. Where do you even start with this game? How do you figure out how the game works and the functions and the systems therein? Before we talk about that though, I want to say hello. My name is Steven. I go by ARMADA on the internet. I've been making YouTube videos about trading card games for 8 years now, and I've been following Flesh and Blood and making videos for it for 5 years. Yes, that means I've been here since the beginning. I made a video on the very first day that this game released, and I've fallen in love with it ever since. So I want to bring that same joy to you, and hopefully with this video, it will provide you some information with how you can get plugged into the game. And this is why I made this video, because these products now exist, and they have transformed the way that you can join and play Flesh and Blood. These are the First Strike decks. These are basically learn to play products that you can pick up off the store shelves right away, and they are perfectly designed, in my opinion, to teach you exactly what you need to know to start playing Flesh and Blood. So you can pick up the Aurora Blitz deck, the First Strike deck, as you see here. She is a lightning Runeblade hero. She fires magical like bursts alongside of giant slashes and physical attacks, and you have Earth Guardian here named Terra, who does big stompy things. He basically just hits you with a really big attack or a hammer. And when you buy one of these products, it comes in a 40-card Blitz deck. Blitz is a faster format than the main format called Classic Constructed. And when you open this up, you have access to everything you need to play the game. You have equipment, you have a hero, you have weapons, you have attacks, and so on and so forth. They even give you a little QR code that you can scan here to figure out basically figure your way around the deck. But if you would like me to make a very specific, very kind of to the point how to play one of these First Strike decks, let me know in a comment below. But yeah, like I said, gives you your hero, gives you any tokens, a weapon, you got some armor here that you get to play with, and then just a bunch of attacks, some non-attacks, everything you need to learn the mechanics of the game. And I think it's even better described in this Aurora deck. This is the one I actually have sleeved up because I was playing this with my son, and it teaches you everything you need to know. This is a non-attack action card. How does it function? This is an attack action card. How does that one work? This is an attack action card, so on and so forth. And even down here, you've got like a defensive type card that is an instant speed card, and then an offensive card that is an instant speed card. It literally teaches you the timings of everything, and I think it's very well designed, and this is the best place to start if you need to learn how to play Flesh and Blood. But from this point forward, you can actually branch off in a couple of different ways and some great directions. So let's say you try those heroes and you're like, I like the idea and how the game flows, but I'm not sure I'm like sold on those heroes. Well, they have other Blitz decks that you can try out for very cheap as well. These are like 12 bucks. These specifically came from a different set that is more recent, or that is more in the recent history. This was from the Heavy Hitters set that came out at the beginning of the year. This is the KO Blitz deck. KO is a brute hero, and this is the Kasai Blitz deck, a warrior. And these two, well, really, there's 6 different decks from this set, but you could just pick any of these up, any hero that looks interesting, and you can try these out. Now, these aren't designed for like highly competitive play, more like kitchen table, try the hero out, see what you think for yourself. But if you're looking for a cheap option to try a new hero, pick these up. They're not bad at all, and you can play them against each other rather well. I have a bunch of these that my son and I just take out and we just chuck at each other, and it's a blast. But let's say that you fall in love with one, like the KO Blitz deck. How do you take what you have here, or this hero in general, and move him into the premier format in the game, Classic Constructed? Well, to do that, you'd run out and get one of these Armory decks. Specifically, this is the KO Armory deck. This is a Classic Constructed ready product. This is a 60-card Blitz deck with all the equipment, all the weapons, the hero, everything you need to play this guy in the premier format at an armory, which is the local kind of weekly tournament that you can go and play in, meet people, learn the game a little bit better. When you open this up, which I've already done because obviously I have the deck and I've used it, but when you open this up, you've got KO here as the hero. You have equipment, weapons, and this is everything that you need to play the game. Now, very importantly, I'll just slide this out, it also comes with a couple of very powerful pieces of equipment, like for example Savage Sash here, which is a fantastically aggressive piece of equipment that comes exclusively in this product, and by buying this product you are sort of stepped up into these more powerful equipment pieces that oftentimes separate the, you know, like first product, this is my first armory experience, to someone that's been playing for a while that has all of these very powerful equipments. This is a great stopgap for that. So you buy this, you have this powerful piece of equipment along with all of these other cards, and you are ready to go. You can go find an armory, play in it, run it all out there, and have a great time learning the game of Flesh and Blood with others. But how do you actually find a local event near you? Well, this is the Flesh and Blood website. It's a one-stop shop for everything you might need to know about Flesh and Blood. Look, it's got a spot for popular products. Most recent set that came out is Rosetta, which that First Strike deck Aurora, that Aurora deck, she came out in that set, so you could supplement by buying some of that if you like her. This is an Armory deck that's coming out soon, another one of these. They have multiple different Armory decks, and this one is going to be very good. So if you like the idea of going fast and having a little tech behind you, the Armory deck -IO is coming out. It's very, very good. But in order to figure out where local events are for you, you just go to events. You go to event locator, and then you have all of these different options. Okay, if you're looking for just an armory, well, you can just choose armory. You can't see all the choices, of course, on the screen, but there are a bunch of choices. I'll read them off to you. There's armory events, there's battle hardens, callings, learn to play events, there's pro quests, everything you might want to know. But if you're just looking for an armory event, just choose that, and then type your address in and look at what's available. Now, you might notice there's a lot of different events happening, and this is just the public events forum, but there's a lot of different events in a lot of different places. You can go to the Philippines. These are just armories and other things. Canada, Brazil, USA. I mean, you can flip through a bunch of pages. There's another Philippines, but you can flip through a bunch of pages. There's a lot of events that are going on all the time because this game is huge on sitting down at a table with someone else and playing the game. Go visit a new country if you want to. Play the game, see the world. This is a fantastic plug-and-play place for you if that's something that you're interested in doing. Now, if you're playing in armories already, you figured out how to play the game, and you want to take the next step in competitive play, let me show you how to do that. This is the organized play section of the website, and yeah, it talks about the overall organized play system within the game. It is very fleshed out. There are a lot of events that you can play in. They've separated it out by month, and here, looking in November, these are the next step up type events. Now, right now, there's a Pro Quest season going on, and that Pro Quest, if you win a Pro Quest, you get a tournament invitation to, in April, here it is, the Pro Tour that's happening in London. Now this one, you do need an invite to play in the main event. They do run side events and things like that you can play in as well. And they have a calling, which is an open entry tournament that you can play in alongside of it. Those are also happening all over the world, all throughout the month of November. They have these battle hardens. These are great next steps if you're looking to kind of try a new competitive event. They're one-day tournaments, battle hardens. Remember that, one-day tournaments, fantastic, show up and play. Callings are open entry, so anyone can enter. You just pay the entry fee. Open entry multi-day tournaments with higher prize pools. Of course, there's prizes on the line for all of these. Battle hardens, notice there's battle hardens literally all over the world. In December, there's one in Houston. There's one in Wellington, New Zealand. There's a calling in Chicago. There's a calling in Kuala Lumpur. I mean, even over here, Hiroshima, Florence, like Portland, Stockholm. You could literally go all over the world to play this game. I do want to shout out at the end of the year, Calling in Chicago is going to be a brand new format. Well, brand new-ish. It's the Living Legend format. In this game, It is a non-rotating game, meaning your cards aren't going to rotate, but the hero that might play them could reach the Living Legend status by performing well in a lot of tournaments and accruing a lot of points. So they would move out of the Classic Constructed format and be playable in the Living Legend format. And this is a format that is going to be featured at the Calling Chicago December 13th through 15th by the channel sponsor MinMax Games. So if you need a place to pick up like these Blitz decks, or this Armory deck, and your local game store isn't selling these, go to minmaxgames.com. They host mini tournaments for the game. They've brought me out and allowed me alongside of them to do some commentary and coverage for their tournaments. Absolutely fantastic people, and they love this game and they love running events for it. So go support them at the Calling Chicago in December. And also, if you need stuff, this is a great place to go online and pick them up. So there you go. There you have it. That's the quick and dirty on how to get plugged into Flesh and Blood. I think the best place to start now are these new First Strike decks. If you need an inexpensive option, you can always run out and grab one of these Blitz decks to try other heroes out. And then the Armory deck is the key here to plug into the Premier format, Classic Constructed, run it out there and play in a local Armory, and then step things up as you see fit. If you want to upgrade these decks or try out new heroes, they have a whole avenue and a whole host of options for that. So if you have questions about how to get started in Flesh and Blood, leave them down in the comments below. I try to answer or comment or at least react to every comment down there. So leave a question, I will answer it. I'm sure someone else will. We would be happy to have you in this community. And if you're just poking around to see what the game's all about, spoiler alert, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good game, so I highly recommend it. If you enjoy this type of video, make the number go slightly higher by pressing a red button and subscribing. Numbers going up is what we like to do here. Trust me, a lot of people like making the number go slightly higher. I'm one of them. I would know. I've been here a while. As always, thanks for watching.